Hi, my name is Chris and I'm from Excite Audio. Today I'll be talking about the 5 most common mistakes that most people make. So don't be a noob. So let's just start with topic number 1. Speakers. Coaxial speakers and component speakers. So this one here is coaxial speaker. This one here is component speaker. Don't take the coaxial speaker and put it in the front. Why? Because you don't want the sound to come out from your legs. Why do we use a component speaker? Because it has a separate, which is the tweeter. Tweeter put up here, this one put where your original speaker is, so that you can have a better sound stage. Because this little speaker here, the tweeters, is placed on your dashboard, probably angled to your ears, and that gives you a more natural sound, a higher sound stage, and of course a better choice. So don't put coaxial speakers at your front part of your car. Right? You don't want the singer to be singing from your legs. You want the singer to be singing on your stage, which is your dashboard. So yeah, in layman terms, when you go into a concert, right, where are the speakers all positioned at? Are they positioned at your leg, or are they positioned up higher, whether it's nearer to your ears or, but most of the time I see that the speakers are basically up at the top. So remember, coaxial speakers, don't install it in your front. Get a proper components system like this and put it in the front. Point number 2, amplifier RMS ratings, amplifier powering subwoofers kind of mistake. Here's a little story about my mistake back in the days. I think I was being a cheapo, so I was thinking, hey, I have 4 channels of an amplifier. If I use 2 channels to power my components speakers, I still have another 2 channels that perhaps I can play a subwoofer. So what happened was that, as usual, 2 channels for the front components and then a balanced 2 channels bridge into 1 to power a subwoofer. And then after a while of playing some hard type of music, lots of bass, I was feeling, hey, the subwoofer is performing, there's bass coming out from it. And then after about 20 minutes of high volume, ear deafening type of music, right, what happened was that, holy shit, why there's no more sound coming out from my car anymore? And then only I found out that I was a noob. Because the 4-channel amplifier that I bought, I thought it was like powerful or anything, and it's definitely able to support my subwoofer. At the end, I disappoint myself. And this is the reason why I never recommend using a 4-channel amplifier to play subwoofers. When I touched my 4-channel amplifier, it was too hot to touch. It means that I've maxed out the 4-channel amplifier. Because of this mistake, I learned my lesson, and I told myself, and I'm gonna tell you, to invest in a monoblock amplifier like this. A single channel, probably 500-600 watts RMS of power to play the sub. And what's the result after that? My bass got louder, my windows start to shake, and it doesn't know how to cut out. Because this amplifier here is capable of playing your subwoofer at a very high volume. And then the 4-channel amplifier will be less abused, and I can see the amplifier actually smiling at me. And my speakers sing so much better because it doesn't feel so stressed. It operates at a good temperature, and we live happily ever after, because after playing for 2 hours non-stop of deafening, bass-hitting, nerve-wracking type of music, it's still playing. Now it is another part of it, another different type of mistake that you should avoid. But first, let me guide you through this first. Many customers would actually think that, hey, I'll just purchase a new set of speakers and then I'm just gonna install it. But most of the time, let me tell you that you require a speaker spacer, or we call it a speaker casing. The reason why being that is that if you realize, all speakers, aftermarket speakers, are made round. Their mounting points are basically around the speaker. But if you remove your original car speakers, they basically have different type of mounting points, just like this one here. So sometimes I get questions from customers, hey, why do I need to pay an extra 30 or 50 ringgit for a pair of these speaker spacers over here? I would tell you directly, if you don't purchase this, I won't be able to install your speakers to your car. Supposedly, this speaker here would be actually mounted to the spacer, right? And then you have your mounting points that is suited to your car. So every different car may utilize different speaker spaces. And what I've seen in my experience is that at some places they may not have a ready stock for this type of speaker spaces or casing. What they would do is they would take your original car speaker like this and they start grinding and cutting out the old speakers over here. And they crack the whole back behind just to retain the outer layer of it. And then they would take your aftermarket speaker and fit it into this cut out speaker spaces that you have originally. So what will happen if you do that? Because when you cut off this part over here, what will you get is non-smooth, jagged edges. So imagine if you mount in this aftermarket speaker into it, it won't be airtight, it won't be sealed. So basically what will happen is that air will simply travel through the small little holes because it's not cut or polished properly, and that would affect your sound quality. We call it 老风. So basically, whenever you purchase a speaker, please remember to purchase a speaker spacer, because if you want to save a couple of tens and lose a lot of sound quality, I think that's one of the Noob mistakes that you should avoid. There are better quality ones that probably cost you 100 or 200 ringgit, or really special aluminium made types. By just not saving a couple of tens for this kind of ABS plastic kind of spaces, you can have a much more better sound quality. And another point is that why we wouldn't want to actually cut out your original car speakers out from its original speaker casing. The reason is being that, what if I fall in love with the speakers that I've bought and I want to keep it? If I would have cut out this, I wouldn't be able to replace it back into my car. It's already destroyed. I only used the casing. So I can't actually remove back the speaker that I love and keep it aside or transfer it to another car, because if I do that, the car that I'm trying to sell has no speakers. So don't save a scheme on the couple of tens for proper speaker spaces or casing. If you don't know what speaker casing that you need, there's always a way. Just contact us.